on everyone. So I was originally going to share 2 recipes, but I've been fueled with so much creative energy this week that I have decided on 3 because I couldn't choose which recipes I wanted to share. So for the plant-based vegan/veggie options, we have got a vegetable stir fry with crunchy roasted spicy cashews and the most warming spiced butternut squash, chickpea and preserved lemon tagine. The fish option is a honey and mustard pan-fried salmon with roasted vegetables, which is just so good. So I'm going to be sharing 3 very different types of recipes, so hopefully there's something that you can pull out from at least one of the recipes and try out and enjoy. So recently I've been enjoying, you can call it a condiment or a sauce. It's something called ZHOUG. I know it's pronounced different in different parts of the world, but think of ZHOUG as something like a spicy pesto. It is so delicious and I've been putting it on absolutely everything, and you're going to see me put it over every recipe that I share with you guys today. So if you enjoy the recipes that I'm about to share with you, you like the look of them and you would like to check out more of my recipes, you can head over to my website, check out my ebook called Balance. I've also got a couple of other ebooks over there that you can check out if you want to. If you guys try out, recreate any of the recipes that you are about to see, please tag me over on my Instagram at tishwonders. So please give the video a like if you enjoy it. I know you guys are gonna love the recipes that I'm about to share. I have been loving on them all week. Let's go. So I'm gonna begin by sharing the ZHOUG recipe. Let me know how you pronounce it in the comments section below. Let me show you guys what ingredients I'm gonna put into this hot, spicy sauce. So for this version of ZHOUG, I used some jalapeno peppers, some lemon juice, some garlic, some fresh coriander and parsley, some red chili flakes, some cardamom powder, cumin seeds, some olive oil and some sea salt. So I began by chopping up the jalapenos, not adding too many seeds straight away because I kind of want to go easy with the spice. I want to build it up to what I enjoy. So I placed all of the ingredients into a food processor that included the herbs, the jalapenos, the garlic, lemon juice, olive oil, the red chili flakes, some sea salt, cardamom powder and some cumin seeds. So I blitzed the ZHOUG and I gave it a little taste. I needed a little bit more fire and heat, so I added a few of the jalapeno seeds. It's better to do it gradually rather than just throw them all in and then just be like, whoa, this is too hot. So the first recipe is a seasonal vegetable stir fry topped with some of the ZHOUG and some roasted spicy cashews, which are incredible. So I started off by prepping my vegetables. I chose to use some carrots, some tenderstem, some peppers, spring onions, some cabbage and lime, garlic, ginger, onions. So I started off by finely chopping up the cabbage. It works so well in this stir fry. It's inexpensive and it is so delicious. So I finally chopped up some onions, some garlic, some ginger, the base of, in my opinion, any stir fry or most of my meals in fact. So I finally chopped up some red peppers. Red peppers are still around, they're still sweet and bursting with flavor, they're still in season. So I peeled the outer layer of the carrots and continued peeling them, so I basically had ribboned carrots. They kind of stir fry really quick, that's why I like to do them like this. I heated some oil in a wok. I chose to use some coconut oil. If you don't do oils, use water, do your thing, do what works for you. I then threw in the onions, the garlic and the finely grated ginger and I moved everything. You want to keep the stir fry moving, high heat and moving quick. So then I threw in the cabbage. I splashed over some tamari. So to give the stir fry some heat, you can throw in some chilies if you want to. I love to throw in harissa paste. It might sound like a random thing to throw in a stir fry, but I think it works so well. So I threw in some harissa paste, followed on by some fennel seeds, which also, so good in stir fries, a little bit of black pepper, and then continued throwing in the vegetables. So I threw in the red peppers and the tenderstem, giving everything a shake, giving everything a mix, and then I drizzled over a tiny little bit of sesame oil. This is just to bring out the flavors, and I love sesame oil on stir fries, it's just a must. I threw the carrots in. So I love adding some type of sea vegetable to my stir fry. If you don't have any sea vegetables, don't worry, it's fine. This step is totally optional. I had some wakame on deck. It's one of my longtime favorite types of sea vegetables. So I placed the amazing wakame into the stir fry and gave everything a mix. Everything is colorful and vibrant. You can really play around with the stir fry at this point. Go ahead, add some cayenne, add some black pepper, add some other spice seeds if you feel to, just kind of feel out what works. I then cooked up my noodles. I had some udon noodles in my cupboard, so I cooked them and I placed them in, followed on by some fresh coriander and some more sesame seeds, giving everything a little mix down. So I wanted to give the stir fry an extra special something, and that special something was spicy roasted cashews, which are so delicious. So really simple, I placed some cashews into a bowl and I placed over just random spices from my cupboard. Be experimental. I will list the spices that I used on the screen, and then I just gave everything a mix. I dropped in a tiny little bit of oil. This is just to help them roast up. You could definitely use a little bit of water if you wanted to. That will help the spices stick to the cashews. So I placed them into the oven for around 10 to 12 minutes, just until they were golden and toasty. So it was time to plate up the stir fry. The stir fry is ready and it's hot and it's So I plated it up and then I drizzled over some of that zhuge. So I crushed up the spicy roasted cashews and I placed them on top with a little bit of chili, some coriander, squeeze of lime. The zhuge is mostly coriander, so it actually works so amazingly with this stir fry. Vibrant, fragrant, bright, delicious. This bowl is everything. Stir fries are so versatile. You can really put your stamp on them, make them your own. I'm in love with this one. So the next recipe, think warming, spiced, comforting, flavorful, flavorsome. I'm gonna be sharing a butternut squash, chickpea and preserved lemon tagine. This is perfect for the colder weather, the colder nights. You guys are gonna love this one. So the main ingredients for the tagine include chickpeas, we've got some carrots, some shallots, butternut squash, some raisins which are gonna cook down and turn really plump and juicy, some preserved lemons, and a whole heap of spices. Believe me, this is what makes this tagine super special. So the spices include paprika, cinnamon, allspice, some coriander seeds, cumin seeds, and some cardamom seeds. We're gonna use the seeds, not the whole pod. So to begin with, I simply peeled my shallots and I left them whole. This can work with onions. Shallots just have a real sweet kind of taste and it's perfect for a dish like this. So then I chopped my butternut squash into cubes. I peeled and chopped it, and I peeled and chopped my carrots into kind of sideways wedges like this. So I finally grated some ginger. This is just gonna release all the juiciness from the ginger, and I also finally chopped up some garlic as well. Ideally, I would have used an actual tagine to cook the tagine in, but I don't have one. Instead, I used a heavy-based casserole dish. So I started off by adding a little bit of ghee to the pot. You could sub with avocado oil, olive oil, coconut oil. So we're gonna start with quite a low temperature and we are going to place in the peeled shallots. So continue stirring the shallots for a couple of minutes until they kind of have a nice golden tint on the outside, and then place in the finely grated ginger and the minced garlic. So I continued on by preparing the spice seeds. If you don't have spice seeds, it's totally fine. You can use spice powders. I just wanted to use spice seeds. So I crushed up the coriander, the cumin, and the cardamom seeds. I placed the spice seeds into the pot. At this point, things are gonna start smelling delicious. I then threw in the cinnamon, the allspice, and the paprika, and immediately threw in a little bit of water. This is just to avoid scorching the bottom of the pot. So I placed in some sea salt, some harissa paste, some chopped tomatoes, and then a little drizzle of honey. So at this point, we can turn the temperature a little bit higher because we are going to make sure everything cooks down, everything gets flavor. Those tomatoes are tasting delicious. We want to get those spices going and everything combined. So turn the heat a little higher, throw in the butternut squash and the carrots, followed on by some broth. I chose to use some vegetable broth. You can use any type of broth that you want, and then throw in the raisins. Like I said, these are going to get really juicy and plump. Follow on by throwing in the cooked chickpeas and a good heap of fresh parsley. We're gonna add parsley now and we're gonna add parsley later. So place the lid on top of the dish and cook down for around 20 minutes, stirring occasionally. So after the 20 minutes, remove the lid and place in the chopped preserved lemons. Place the lid back on and cook for a further 10 minutes. You'll know when the tagine is done once the carrots and the butternut squash can be easily cut through, once they're tender. So the final step for this spiced butternut squash, chickpea and preserved lemon tagine is to scatter in some more fresh parsley and squeeze over some lemon juice. You can serve the tagine as it is, or if you're like me, you can serve it with some couscous. I know I'm gonna get asked how I prepare couscous, so I'm gonna show you guys. This is how my mum taught me to cook couscous. You don't need to boil couscous, okay? You just need to follow these really, really simple steps. So I took a bowl and I placed my couscous into the bowl. I threw over some herbs, so I used some oregano, some thyme, and some parsley, some dried herbs, some sea salt, and then I placed over some boiling, and it has to be boiling hot water, and covered the bowl immediately. Let the couscous sit, let the couscous steam through for around 10 to 15 minutes. So I took the lid off, I drizzled over some olive oil, and then I fluffed the couscous. This is how you get the perfect couscous. No soggy couscous around here. We want fine grained, fluffy couscous. So I placed my couscous on a bowl, followed on by that piping hot, deep, rich, tasty, flavorful tagine. I topped the tagine with a little bit of yogurt and some more ZHOUG. I placed on top some toasted flaked almonds. I scattered over a little bit more parsley, and I served it with a wedge of lemon, which I then squeezed all over the dish. Talk about perfect, warming, seasonal, autumn, winter, hearty dish. This one is definitely going to be a staple for me. So the last recipe that I'm going to share with you guys literally leaves me speechless every single time. So I'm going to share with you guys my recipe for honey and mustard pan-fried salmon with no other than the most simple recipe ever. Super simple roasted vegetables, and we're going to put the zhuge on top, and we're going to put some lemon on top. It's just going to be delicious. So the first step is to decide what vegetables you want to put to roast. I had some vegetables left over from the stir fry, so I had some tenderstem, I had some red peppers. I also chose to use some red onions, some new potatoes, and I picked up a leek as well this week because leeks are back in season. So we are going to start off by chopping up our new potatoes. You can use any type of potato, but whatever potato you use, if you're going to roast it with other vegetables, you want to make sure you kind of par-cook it. So we're going to parboil the new potatoes in some boiling hot salted water for around 5 minutes. Give them a good rinse so they don't continue on cooking, and then we're going to prep our other vegetables. So I cut the red onions into really chunky wedges, followed on by the leeks into similar chunky wedges, and some red peppers. I placed all of the vegetables into a large mixing bowl, and then I placed in some garlic cloves. I kept them whole because I just didn't want them to burn. I placed in some salt, some pepper, some oregano, some garlic powder, a drizzle of olive oil. Leave the oil out if you want to. Gave it all a mix. So I placed in the parboiled potatoes, and I placed on top some fresh thyme. You can place on some fresh rosemary, roasted vegetables, match made in heaven. And then it was time to roast up these delicious vegetables. So I placed them into a 200-degree oven for around 20 to 25 minutes. It's best just to keep an eye on them. You may need to leave them in for a little bit longer or not as long. So it will be time to remove the vegetables once they are looking something like this. Once they're looking golden and just flavoursome and delicious. So it was time to prepare the main feature of this recipe, which is the honey and mustard pan-fried salmon. So to prepare the honey and mustard glaze, I combined some olive oil with some Dijon mustard, a touch of honey, a splash of tamari, some minced garlic, some black pepper, and a squeeze of lemon juice. Once combined, I placed the marinade on top of the salmon. You can do this way in advance if you want to. I like to do it like 3 or 4 hours in advance. If you don't have the time, don't worry, it will be delicious just cooking it straight away too. So if you want to make things easier, you can cook the salmon with the vegetables, just put them in the oven with the vegetables. I just personally love pan-fried salmon. Sometimes I put it in the oven, but on this occasion I wanted to pan-fry it. I placed in my roasted vegetables, followed on by the pan-fried honey and mustard salmon. I was very generous with the zhuge this time. I put a lot on. I put a lot more on after I finished filming because I didn't want to cover it with loads of green. I then squeezed over some warm lemon juice. It was just lemon cooked in the pan with the salmon. I think it looks really pretty, so I put it on the side of the bowl and I devoured this bowl. This is a perfect example of a weekday go-to meal. No fuss, simple, nutritious, delicious. Yum. So there we have it, 3 mind-blowing recipes. So much to choose from. Let me know in the comments which recipe you plan on trying out first, and when you do try it, let me know how it goes. As always, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Thank you for supporting my channel. I will see you guys in my next video. Love you all so much. Take care. Bye. Well,